proposed legislation to provide any kind of guidelines to the minister as to what can and cannot be included, or what should or should not be included in this code of conduct. So I'm just asking the question, why, and is this a particularly conservative thing to do? I would argue not.
Well, okay, let's pursue this just a little bit further here, because I think there's there's another question just beneath the surface, that when people within the structure of a political party get so frustrated with the leadership that they want to strike out on their own and start their own party. How explain to people, because you have a much better grasp on this than I do, how hard is that to do? Is it realistic? Because we see if you run a Google search of Canadian political parties, there's dozens of them. The 99% of them you've never heard of before, or if you have, it's a joke. It's like there's no substance to it. Like the Pirate Party or something. Remember the Rhino Party that Jean Chrétien had to deal with? I mean, they weren't serious. So just how hard is it to start a party and what do you have to do to be taken seriously? Because there is a move afoot in the province right now to start another Conservative party. And the question becomes, okay, if we want to start another Conservative party, and I'm not endorsing the idea or condemning it. Personally, in theory, I would love to see another Conservative party, one that's really conservative. Not this liberal light stuff that we've been getting fed for the last 20 or 30 years under different leaders and different management. But we have a situation where there's a certain group of people who want to start their own party. Are they the right people to do it? I don't know, because people come with baggage. People come with, they have their own agendas. There's egos involved. It takes a very special person to be able to light this particular fire and see it through to the end, or at least to a point where now it can be taken seriously. And whoever starts it has to understand they're probably not going to be the one to be carried over the threshold of power. It's going to take longer than that. Am I making any sense?
Well, from a mechanical point of view, Nick, in the province of Ontario, let's just focus on that very quickly. To start a political party is actually not a hard thing to do. There is you choose a name, you have the name approved by the registrar at Elections Ontario, and then you have to get, in between elections, you have to have 1,000 signatures. It's a petition, and if you achieve that, then you're going to you submit all of that, and Bob's your uncle. It takes 2 to 3 months, assuming that you're able to get all of the signatures together. And once you've done that, then you're going to be approved. So now you're a registered political party. You can run candidates in any one of the ridings in Ontario, and you can raise money, you can issue tax receipts, and you can qualify for a subsidy, which is another thing that people in Ontario don't really understand, and that we haven't really done anything about as a government, a nominally conservative government so far. You could qualify depending on what percentage of the votes you get in a general election. You might qualify both as the central party and individual riding associations to receive some sort of a taxpayer subsidy for your operations. So it's a relatively easy thing to do to start a political party, but to actually create a party that's effective, that is to say, that could get members elected to the legislature, that's a tougher deal. That's a big deal to chew on, to bite off and chew on and swallow. So, and there's no rocket science in that. That's just a question of, creating local organizations, riding associations, or electoral district associations is the language we use these days. And so having basically local groups that are members of the party and supporters of the party They go out and they nominate somebody, although, again, they don't actually have to nominate a local representative. The party can appoint somebody to run in a local riding. But you want to find these people, and you want a whole process. It's long, it can be tedious, and there's no guarantee of success whatsoever. And it takes a special group of people, not one or two people, but a group. There has to be a critical mass. I'm not saying there has to be thousands of people to start with, but you need key people in the right areas of party management and party growth to really be a success. And fringe parties generally are not successful, conservative or not. The question is there room for a conservative party in Ontario currently, and is there a need for it? That's a different question.
Okay, well, just before we ask that question, I wanted to I'm busy Googling here while you were talking, and we have the four main parties in Ontario. Everybody knows those: the Tories, the Liberals, the New Democrats, and the Green Party. But then you have, I won't bother to name them, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 parties that are registered, and I didn't even bother to look at the unregistered parties. So there's at least 20 parties out there that most people have never heard of. Like if you would ask about the Canadian Economic Party, nobody's ever heard of them. Or the Go Vegan Party. I'm just scrolling down the list here. The Ontario Moderate Party, Stop Climate Change Party, the New People's Choice Party of Ontario. So there's all kinds of different parties out there nobody's ever heard of, and they probably will never be successful. And I'm just wondering if someone were to come along and say, okay, we need a new Conservative Party in Ontario, what do they have to do to get out of that pack and join the top four? Like, realistically, how difficult is that?
It's a tremendously difficult task. It's not impossible, but it's tremendously difficult because, remember, it's not just a question of having the right ideas and the right policies. You have to get out there and you have to present your program, your plan, your ideas to the general electorate. And there has to be some ability for you to present yourself in a way that you're going to be a credible, in the minds of the electorate, a credible alternative to the existing mainstream political parties. So that's, again, there's no magic, there's no science to that. It's impossible to predict one way or the other whether that's going to work. It's a timing thing. It's a personality thing. But you have to get out and you have to talk to the people. Whether you're talking directly to them or you're talking to them through the media. And the media is not going to be your friend necessarily either. So now that's not necessarily a bad thing, but you have to pay attention to that. So it's a very difficult thing, and it's a tremendous uphill battle. And then you have to contend with the brand loyalty. That is to say, there are going to be a lot of people. If you start a new Conservative Party, there are going to be a lot of people who are going to agree with you on the issues, who are nevertheless going to say, but I'm not going to join your new party because I'm loyal to the existing party, the existing party structure, and I'd rather work within that party structure in order to bring about the changes that we agree need to be need to be achieved. So there were people who don't really care about policy one way or the other, but the Progressive Conservative Party of Ontario is their team, and damn it, they're going to support their team. The brand loyalty is a very, very difficult thing to overcome in politics as well. So tough. I know that there's a group in Ontario right now that are in the process of trying to pull together everything that's necessary to start a new political party. Starting it from a legal point of view is very different from getting it going as a practical matter. And they may succeed, they may not succeed, but it is a very difficult thing to do. Not impossible, but difficult.
Okay, so if Joseph Ben-Ami decided right now, okay, that's it, I've had enough, obviously changing things from the inside isn't working, we've been at it for 40 years and we're not getting any closer, in fact it's going the other way, what kind of individual are you looking for to be the first, let's, for lack of a better word, leader of that party?
Well, I'm just
is there a person out there?
I'm just conscious of our of time here, so very quickly, because we're running out of time in this segment, Nick. I'm looking for a team builder. I'm looking for somebody who is to lead the party, who understands, who's got a grasp of policy, who is articulate, who can get out there and on the hustings and make speeches. But at the same time, I'm looking for somebody who is a team builder, who understands that politics in many ways is a transactional business. You're dealing with people, and people have their competing interests, etc. So you have to build a team. You have to be able to assemble some sort of a coalition, and that's what I mean by team building. So yes, you have to be principled, but you have to be flexible enough within those principles. There has to be enough room in those principles that you can embrace the desires and the hopes and aspirations of people who share generally the same principles you do, but may not be perfectly 100% aligned with everything that you believe in. Or they may share 10 out of 15 principles that you believe in. And there's no science to it. It's all about relationships. It's all about, as I said, it's all about teamwork. And every team is unique and every team is different. Not just the individuals, but the group together, the whole, if you will, is they're always unique. They're always different because you're talking about different individuals. Nick, we're going to have to leave it there, this part of the discussion, because we're at the bottom of the hour. We have to get into our last break, if that's okay with you. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back on the other side of our break here on the live show. And if you're listening to the podcast, you can catch part 4 of this week's broadcast on Tuesday morning. So we'll be back in a few minutes here on the Nick and Joe Show, here on ThinkRadio.ca.